Most guys who watch porn are convinced that it's not a problem until they experience an SHTF moment, that is. That is the moment when it becomes clear that porn is the cause of a big and serious problem in your life. Two common examples of SHTF moments are porn-induced erectile dysfunction, that is when you're no longer able to have real sex because you've trained yourself to only be stimulated by porn on a screen. So now you're trying to have actual sex with a person in real life and your equipment isn't working and you go, oh, maybe it was a problem after all. Another sadly common example is your partner, your girlfriend, your wife breaks up with you, gets a divorce because porn has become such a contentious issue in your relationship and she's just fed up with it. Obviously, very painful moment. And when that happens and you finally acknowledge, okay, porn is a problem in my life, in a way it's already too late, right? The damage has already been done. And that's just human things, isn't it? We love to put things off until it's basically too late. But it doesn't have to be like that. If you're watching this video and porn hasn't completely wrecked your life yet, there's a chance that you can make a different choice right now. And perhaps you're thinking, okay, I don't really want to get to that moment where it is too late and where I go, oh, this is a real problem. I wish I had done something 5 years ago. So what are the early warning signs? How can you tell that porn is becoming a problem in your life, that you're headed down that path, and change something before the SHTF moment? So that's exactly what this video is about. Here are the two most reliable early signs that your porn use is going in a direction that's eventually going to cause the kind of problem that makes you go, I wish I changed something in the past. Early warning sign number one is escalation. So what is escalation? It basically means that the things that used to excite you don't excite you anymore. Think about how your porn use has changed over time. Are you doing it more often than you used to? Are your sessions getting longer than they used to be? Did you go from watching a single clip to having like 15 tabs open? Is it more and more tabs open of different stuff you're browsing through over time? Do you spend more and more time searching for just the right thing to get off to? Are you looking for increasingly specific niche interests? Are you looking for very specific categories or fetishes to get off to? And a really strong sign, do you find yourself increasingly consuming porn content that isn't really aligned with your sexual orientation? These are all signs of escalation. And escalation is an important early warning sign because it's a clear indication of addiction. So this is one of the key things that happens with addiction, is that you get desensitized over time. And this doesn't matter whether you're addicted to porn or some substance or whatever. It's always the same. Over time, you need more and more of the substance in order to get the same kind of high. Now, in the case of porn, the substance is pornography, is the video clips and whatnot that you watch. And the high that you're chasing is this dopamine spike and the arousal. So over time, as you use more and more porn, you get desensitized, where maybe at some point it was super exciting to just see like a topless girl dancing or something like that. Now you have to watch some pretty hectic stuff to get the same level of arousal and the same kind of dopamine spike. Unfortunately, this is a vicious cycle, which basically means that the more you give yourself this harder stimulation, the more desensitized you become, and it gets worse and worse over time. This ends up affecting other areas of life as well, where generally everything else becomes less interesting and less motivating, and you seek more and more to just get that stimulation that you crave so much. So everything else, not just other forms of pornography, but everything else in life tends to become less interesting and more dull the more you overstimulate yourself. And this kind of escalation and desensitization is also how you end up in that situation where you're no longer able to have sex in real life, or maybe you can still get it up to have sex in real life, but you can't really enjoy it very much anymore and you're fantasizing about porn in your head because that's the only thing that really excites you. So that is escalation. That's one way in which you can catch yourself earlier. You can go, hey, maybe I'm not a full porn addict yet. It hasn't wrecked my life yet, but I can tell that I'm heading in a direction here that isn't looking good. And I can realize, I can simply know this is going to keep going, right? This is going to keep going in this direction until it gets really bad. So how about we quit right now? Early warning sign number two is compulsion. When a behavior becomes compulsive, it basically means that it feels more like you need to do it than you actually want to do it. So you can ask yourself, how often do you actually take deep pleasure in your porn use? And how often do you just do it out of rote routine? Has porn use become a predictable habit and routine in your life? So for example, Do you always do it in the same place at the same time every day or even multiple times a day? Do you do it every time that you're home alone? You have the place to yourself. Is that for you immediately a trigger? Now's the time, now's my opportunity to go watch porn. Do you feel like it's something that you need to do in order to fall asleep? Do you have trouble falling asleep if you don't masturbate to porn first? Or do you need it? Do you do it every time you feel stressed or upset or angry? Is it the thing that you go to in order to self-regulate emotionally? These are all indications that the behavior is becoming compulsive. You're not so much doing it because you want to or choose to or because of the pleasure you feel. You're doing it because you feel like you need to do it for something else, or it's just become so automatic that you don't even think about it anymore. This is a big difference between an unhealthy porn habit that is going towards addiction or has already become an addiction and a healthy sex life. If you have a healthy sex life, you usually have sex because you want to, and there are days where you want it more and days where you want it less. And when you have sex, it is something you deeply enjoy. See how that's very different from this kind of compulsive, habitual use? So those are the two most reliable early warning signs. If you see that your porn use is escalating over time, and if you see that it's becoming more compulsive over time, that is a sign that you're on the path to addiction. And the longer you stay on that path, the more likely it is that you will experience your very own SHTF moment. So if that's you, you have the chance to be one of those very rare smart people who do something about the problem before it wrecks their life. To learn how to become porn-free, subscribe to this channel and check out my How to Quit playlist. And if you'd like to take a shortcut to quitting porn for good, check out the first link in my description to join the step-by-step Quit by Healing program. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below.